So what's stopping you from submitting all those attachments?
Medyo mabibigat po itong mga accusations.
Ilang 37,500,000 pong cheque ang napirmahan po ninyo? Habang hope po kayo.
Mr. Chair, I'm not very sure if it's 2 or 3.
Okay.
It should be around that.
2 or 3. So
Yes.
more or less, mga nasa 54 million ang napirmahan po ninyo. Tama po?
Yeah, but separate checks.
Apo, dalawang check na worth 37 times 74. Apo. Now, sabi po ninyo sa paragraph 4, between February 2023 to September 2023, I received a total of 9 envelopes labeled Hope. My current position in DepEd during that time.
Concurrent.
Ano po? Tama po ba?
Concurrent position.
Yes.
Your Honor.
So tama po ba itong sinabi ninyo?
Yes,
Okay.
Mr.
Ano po
Chair.
yung laman nitong siyam na envelope na to?
It's 50,000 pesos.
50,000. So 50,000 times 9. So for 9 months, ilang buwan po kayong naging Hope? 9 months?
May I explain that?
Yes, please.
I've been receiving that envelope, but I never opened it while I was at DepEd. Some of my friends, when I left, we saw that those envelopes still intact, not opened. So I actually didn't know how much money there was in each of the envelope.
But how did you know na pera po ang
When I
laman nun?
retired already, I was asking for an exit call so I could
You were
return
asking for?
an exit call when I was leaving already DepEd because I wanted to return those envelopes, but I wasn't able to have that exit call. I wasn't able to return, but so I sought some advice, and they just advised me to donate it to a non-government organization, which I did. And that's the only time that I opened those envelopes in front of the people that I was donating it. And it was 50,000 per envelope.
So 50,000 times 9.
It's 450 po. And
450.
They issued me a receipt for that 450.
Okay. Sino po nag-issue ng receipt?
Yung the one who, it's an
The one
an NGO that I
Okay.
donated
So yung
the money.
pinag-donate po ninyo.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
have that receipt?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Your-
Can we
yes,
have a
Mr.
copy
Chair.
of the receipt,
yes,
ma'am?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you po. So, buwan-buwan po, nakakatanggap po kayo ng 50,000 at sinasabi po netong si Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajarda. Sabi po ninyo sa kanya, itong envelope na to ay galing po from the Office of Vice President Sara Duterte o galing kay BP. So, ano po ba ang trabaho nito ni Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajarda?
She used to be the head executive assistant.
Heya.
And then, yes, and then she became an assistant secretary.
Okay. At ang asawa po niya, sabi po ninyo dito, si Edward Fajarda, siya naman po ang Special Disbursement Officer. Tama po ba?
Yes.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin po, itong mag-asawa po, si Sunshine Fajarda at si Edward Fajarda ay very close po talaga sa Vice President. Tama po ba? Masasabi po ba ninyo na very close sila?
I couldn't say that po.
Pero the fact na si Sunshine Fajarda ay heya, so siya po yung laging kasama. Tama po ba?
If you're the heya, you're usually the one who has trust and confidence from the
Yes,
president.
trust and confidence. So ang ano po ba yung mga trabaho kadalasan ng heya?
It's really doing the
Parang chief of staff din po yan
Yes.
Tama po ba? So pag dumating na si heya at may sinabi pong instruction sa inyo, parang ang kausap na rin po ninyo yung boss. Tama po ba?
yes,
So,
Mr.
okay.
Chair.
So ito po bang so tuwing nagpupunta po siya sa inyo, sabi ninyo 9 months. Sunod-sunod nagbibigay po siya ng envelope na may laman pong 50,000. Tuwing nagpupunta po siya sa inyo, sinasabi po niya galing kay VP. Tama po ba?
Kami po yung umaakyat sa
Umaakyat kayo.
Office of the Secretary.
Saan po kayo umaakyat? Saang office po?
Sa Office of the Secretary. Kasi that's where she holds office.
Sa office ni Assistant Secretary Fajarda.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Chair.
By the way, ito po bang opisina po niya? Gaano po ito kalayo sa opisina ni VP Sara?
The same
Same office. So, ibig sabihin, isang opisina lang po silang dalawa. Okay. Pero kasi normally po, yung USEC ang nagpapatawag ng ASEC eh. Tama po ba? Tama po ba? Kasi mas mataas po yung USEC kaysa sa ASEC eh. But this time, yung ASEC po ang nagpapatawag sa USEC. Tama po ba?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. So, yun po eh hindi naman normal kasi normally talaga ang boss ng ASEC, yung USEC. Tama po ba? Okay. So, the fact na kayo po ay pinatatawag ng ASEC, ibig sabihin po talaga, talagang very close at talagang parang very close siya sa secretary. Tama po ba? Parang alter ego po siya. Okay. Yung, pakidescribe nyo nga yung opisina ng Office of the Vice President at saka ito pong opisina ni Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajarda. Ano po ba yan? Kunyari, halimbawa, ito po, isang opisina to. Meron lang po ba siya doong table o meron din siyang sariling opisina doon?
May sarili siyang...
May sariling opisina. So, para siyang chief of staff doon. Okay. Pero lahat yan under ng Office of the Secretary. Kasi normally po, ang mga may opisina lang po doon, USEC. Tama po ba? Ang mga USEC po, may kanya-kanyang opisina. Tama po ba?
Sa baba po.
Sa baba. Yung mga ASEC po, may mga opisina rin po ba?
Yes,
Saan
yes,
po? Sa baba rin.
Naka-scattered kasi madami.
Naka-scattered. So, ibig sabihin, on top dun sa opisina niya as ASEC, meron din siyang opisina sa loob ng opisina ng secretary as HEA.
No po, Chair.
Wala.
Yun lang yung office niya.
Ayun lang ang office niya. So, ibig sabihin
kasama
talaga...
din niya yung USEC, yung Chief of Staff.
Okay.
Ang nag-office doon, Chief of Staff at saka yung ASEC.
Doon sa loob ng opisina ng secretary.
Okay. Yes.
So, yun lang po.
Ano po, ma'am? Nung naramdaman niyo po na may nag-aabot po sa inyo ng sobre, buwan-buwan, ano po ang pakiramdam niyo? Bakit hindi niyo po binuksan?
I must admit that I was uncomfortable with those envelopes, but parang ang hirap din kasi I'm not sure if others are receiving. Parang ang hirap din I didn't know if others are receiving. I cannot say. So ang ginawa ko na lang is I had this pouch that iniiwan ko lang sa office. Nilalagay ko lang doon yung mga binibigay sa akin na pera.
Sa pakiramdam po ninyo, para po saan yun?
Ang feeling ko is she has naman resources to give to she has probably personal resources that she can share to her people, and I'm not really, ayoko mag-speculate, but the only thing I could say is I wasn't comfortable with it.
Hindi po ba kayo nagtataka? Kayo po yung head ng HOPE, ng procuring entity, tapos may natatanggap po kayo na buwan ng 50,000?
As I mentioned, it is uncomfortable, and that's precisely the reason why I wasn't opening it at all. I was just putting it in one pouch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The Chair
Mr.
would
Chair,
like to recognize...
and you will confirm that this envelope started only when you were appointed as head of procuring entity.
It's actually not very clear to me anymore, but I recall we also received some amounts in in 2022, but it's very vague to me anymore. So, and then I don't have the envelope. So, parang it wasn't.
So how do you receive those amounts which are vague, not regular, if there are no envelopes?
No, I think it's only once. It's like a Christmas bonus. Pero siguro hindi siya naka-envelope kasi I didn't keep it. Ano.
Tama po bang sabihin, ma'am, na yun pong regular monthly envelope which you later on found out contains 50,000 per envelope ay nag-umpisa lamang nung kayo na-appoint as head of procuring entity?
I'm still keeping those envelopes, so I would like to say yes.
Yes, because it is very clear from your affidavit, no? This envelope started in February and ended in September of 2023. And earlier you said kayo po'y na-appoint bilang Hope noong February 2023. And prior to that, since your appointment in August 15, 2022, wala kayong nare-recall regular envelope which you were receiving from ASEC Sunshine. Can you please enlighten us? What is with Hope? Bakit doon lang po nag-umpisa itong envelope na ito upon your appointment as head of procuring entity?
It's a very difficult task, especially for someone who has not tried to be one before. Parang it's an area that I really evaded all my entire government life. But there's just too many already pending procurement at that time. So when I was asked if I could be designated as the Hope, I first referred them to other people who are seasoned in procurement, like sina Yusek Rebsi, but Yusek Rebsi was already too preoccupied with operations. So I finally accepted the position, and it was difficult because I have to study the procurement law, and I was given I had a lawyer and someone who's already a retiree to review the documents with me when we signed the contracts. And I had commitment from when I accepted the post, I made it a family decision, you know. Like among the execom, I asked our legal before, Yusek Brady and ASEC Amanda Nograles, that everything that I signed has to be thoroughly reviewed by legal. And so I had that commitment of support from everyone in the execom, and so I accepted the post.
In brief, ma'am, can you please enlighten us? Why do you say na mahirap, difficult ang position ng Hope?
Because you have to you have to look through all the documents, and it's like
Which documents, ma'am?
everything that goes through the bidding process. I am not part of the bidding process itself, but on the time that I was appointed, I was the one tasked to form the structure of who's chair for BAC 1, BAC 2. So I spoke to all the people which I know I will have comfort to chair specific committees at specific BAC. But the process of bidding, I'm not part of it because you have to maintain you have to make sure that you're not enmeshed with the process itself, but you're just reviewing to make sure that the vice president secretary is protected with everything that I signed because it's a delegated function. She's supposed to be the Hope.
In other words, ma'am, you're the person who check all the documents coming from BAC before the vice president signs or approves.
No, I signed because
You sign for the...
I have to sign because I'm the one the Hope signs. It's delegated to me already.
And you will agree with me if I would say na you consider it difficult because it concerns matter about procurement and bidding,
Yes.
where there are a lot of issues surrounding, sometimes
And it's just
issues
too
about
many.
bribery and corruption. You agree with me?
yes,
And what do you think is the reason kung bakit yung envelope nag-start lang during your appointment as Hope?
I think
Bakit
it's-
po walang envelope nung HR pa lang kayo? Tapos biglang nagka-envelope nung naging hope kayo?
I think it's like an allowance maybe for an extra work because sometimes I have to stay until midnight to look at the documents when sometimes I have
If
one.
that is just an allowance, ma'am, then the rest of the officials of the DepEd should be receiving also their respective envelopes. Do you think so? Don't you think so, ma'am? If that is just an allowance, then the rest of the officers of DepEd should have their own envelopes as well.
Mr. Chair, that's precisely the reason why I did not open any of it. Because
I
that was
understand.
very uncomfortable on my
I understand. And that leads me to the next question, ma'am. Why were you so uncomfortable with the envelope when you believe that that is just an allowance?
Mr. Chairman, I do disagree with the position of COA. Because, well, in fact, you were issued a subpoena to testigo with regards to the notice of disallowance, di ba? And you submitted it to the committee. Tama? Tama?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sinabit nyo nga yung highlights eh. All we're asking is to justify this. We're not talking about the case. We're just talking about if indeed the ND that you have all the highlights of such yung ginawa nyo with regards to the budget of OBP is indeed tama. So what's stopping you from submitting all those attachments? Kasi nandito na nga eh. Di ba?
And before you answer, just to clarify, COA, let me read the...
In break, I tried trying to call my mga contacts about this person, si Gloria Jumamil Mercado. If I may be allowed to just establish some qualifications that you have. Just answer us truthfully, Miss Gloria Jumamil Mercado. Ano po ba ang pinagmulan po ninyo? You are in the public service for 40 years. But ano po yung mga foundation that you can relay to this committee as your established personality?
Thank you, Chair, for that question.
Yes, Yusek Mercado, you are recognized.
I was, as I mentioned, I'm already 40 years in government. I was pulled out from my fourth-year college. I was 19 years old when I worked with then Minister Vicente Paterno as Masikap. I think one of the famous Masikap here is also Congressman from Cagayan de Oro. So I started working in Mindanao as a field worker, and I rose the rank up to an assistant secretary on mostly on merit. And then I had my PhD in Mainland China Studies. So when I got back, I was asked by Secretary Bert Gonzales to join him in the National Security Council, and that's where I was totally grounded on social democracy and being able to work well with the countryside and the other sectors.
So in other words, Mr. Chairman, your foundation of your having served for 40 years in the public service is Social Democrats.
Yes po, sir.
Mr. Chairman, kasi yung pong mga Social Democrats, yung pong equality, no? Like Sweden, Norway, and the different part of this world adhere to this social democracy, which establish a fairness and equal rights for every citizen of their country. And I heard that, correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Gloria, were you tapped on the Yolanda rehabilitation on the capacity building of the different LGUs by former Senator Ping Lacson?
Yes po, sir.
Bakit po kayo tinap ni Senator Ping Lacson? What is your credibility and your capacity to lead yung sa Yolanda rehabilitation?
I was actually wearing two hats, Mr. Chair. The first one is I was the commander of the Naval Forces Reserve Eastern Visayas I'm a Commodore po of the Philippine Navy Reserve.
So, reservist po kayo ng,
Yes
ng
po,
Navy?
sir. Yes, sir. And second is that I was the Senior Vice President and Dean of the Development Academy of the Philippines. And we were asked by Senator Ping Lacson, of then Presidential Advisor for the Yolanda Rehabilitation, to develop a course for for the 179 municipalities and towns that were affected by which we call the Yolanda Corridor. So we customized a program for them, and they didn't come up with a thesis. It's a master's degree. What they came out, each of the planner will come out with a new town plan that is on a build better framework.
So, in other words, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair pala, and Madam Gloria, yung buong trabaho po ninyo, para maintindihan po ng in a layman's term, no? Yung naging trabaho nyo as Senior Vice President po ba kayo ng Development Academy of the Philippines?
Yes po.
If I may, no, ito po bang trabaho nyo dito, kung ilalagay po natin para mas maintindihan natin, kayo po yung nagte-train para dun sa mga career executive. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So in other words, your capacity as one of the pillars of the Development Academy of the Philippines is to give ammunition to those affected doon sa Yolanda strategy. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Were you also a pioneer nung tinatawag natin sa Development Security Program for the Command and General Staff ng College ng Armed Forces of the Philippines?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Were you a part of it?
Kasi as also a reservist po, I realized that yung nag-aaral sa Command and General Staff College, they only get a certificate of a Command and General Staff course. So naisip namin sa DAP is to twin a program. We expanded the training so that pag-graduate nila sa Command and General Staff College, hindi lamang sila certified of the Command and General Staff course, meron din silang Masters in Public Management, Major in Development and Security. Ang tinuturo po namin, Mr. Chair, is for the armed forces to be able to work properly in the ground, especially with the NGOs and the local government units.
Okay. Aside from that, somebody texted me as well. They saw you on the live stream of the House of Representatives, and they're telling me that you are a senior fellow of the Philippine Public Safety College, wherein I'm going to graduate on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Are you a dean of the PPSC?
No, sir. We helped develop the program. So I chaired the advisory committee.
So you created the program that we are that
Yes,
will
yes,
being
sir.
taught to us.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kasi 1 year na po akong nagmamasteral sa
Public
PPSC,
safety.
sa public safety, and I'm quite surprised that you are a former senior fellow of the PPSC. And with that, Mr. Chairman, no, I was quite surprised to find out that actually, I'm not surprised anymore. A while ago, when I was hearing your testimony on your affidavit, medyo nagiging questionable pa sa akin yung mga dineklara nyo dito. But now that I found out all of this qualification that was given to me by my friend who have watched you testifying on this committee, now I must agree that you really have a ball, no? Ano kayo talaga? You were established on your foundation on the true public service that are being given by you. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will not be furthering my my query anymore.